Welcome back, everybody, to The Deep Dive. This time we're going deep on Mel Robbins' book, The 5-Second Rule.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one.
It is. And I am really looking forward to unpacking this with you and seeing what we can glean from it. It seems so simple, right? This idea of a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's remarkable how Robbins takes something so basic and turns it into this catalyst for change.
Exactly. And she really emphasizes that it's not just about, like, you know, the big fears or, like, the huge moments.
It's those everyday...
It's the everyday stuff.
hesitations, those little moments where we kind of get in our own way.
Totally. And, you know, it's about recognizing that courage is not just for those big moments, but it's like a muscle that we can build through the small daily decisions.
Absolutely. And Robbins' core argument is that we all have that instinct to act. We're all born with it.
Right.
But it's our brains, our minds...
Get in the way.
That get in the way. The overthinking and the doubt.
Yes. So it's like this battle between our instincts and our brains.
Precisely. And that's where the 5-second rule comes in. It's like a circuit breaker. You know, for those negative thought patterns.
Yeah, because it's like it's hijacking your neurobiology.
You're interrupting the habit loop. And what's so interesting is the neurological basis for this.
Right.
When you count down from 5, you're activating the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain.
That's the decision-making part.
Responsible for decision-making and action.
Yeah, so you're not stuck in the fear response.
Right.
You're actually, like, pulling yourself out of that.
You're giving yourself that window to step in and take control.
Yeah, and what I think is so fascinating is she came up with this by accident.
I know, right? It's incredible.
She was watching, I believe it was a rocket launch.
It was a rocket launch countdown on TV.
And she thought, what if I apply this to my own life?
It's amazing how sometimes the simplest ideas, inspired by the most unexpected things, can be so profound.
And it really speaks to, like, you know, the fact that sometimes the answers are right in front of us. Absolutely.
And throughout the book, she shares so many stories of people who've used this rule to make both small changes and big life decisions.
And it really speaks to this idea of, like, trusting your gut.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that
But Jack Robbins talks about the power of instinct.
Yeah.
That a lot of times those gut feelings that we get, we dismiss them.
Oh, I do that all the time.
But they might actually be signals from our inner wisdom.
Yes, totally. And there's actually research on this. There was a University of Arizona study that found that when we're near something that is related to our goals, our brains prime us to take action toward that goal.
That's fascinating.
Even if we don't even realize it.
I've totally experienced that, like walking past the gym and suddenly feeling the urge to work out.
See, I knew it. Or like passing a bookstore and wanting to go in and browse.
Exactly. It's your brain nudging you, saying, hey, this is connected to what you want.
Yes. So it's about paying attention to those things, you know.
Absolutely. And it makes you think about all the great inventions that were sparked by these random moments of inspiration.
Or matches or Velcro.
Like matches, Velcro, the Frappuccino.
The Frappuccino.
I mean, who would have thought?
Amazing. But so, you know, sometimes it's not about starting something new. Sometimes courage is about overcoming, you know, those internal roadblocks, like procrastination.
Procrastination, the universal struggle.
Right. But Robbins makes this really interesting distinction. You know, she talks about destructive procrastination, productive procrastination.
It's a nuance that I think a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
We tend to think of all procrastination as bad.
Right.
But there's actually a type that can be really beneficial for creativity.
Yeah. Like when you let a project just kind of simmer for a little bit.
Exactly. Letting your mind wander. Make those unexpected connections.
Right. Like marinating your brain. She even says that she uses that productive procrastination in her own writing.
Yeah, sometimes stepping away can lead to those breakthroughs.
Totally.
But then there's that other side.
Right.
The kind that keeps us from deadlines and reaching our goals.
That's the bad kind,
That's the one we got to tackle.
So how do we deal with that? What does she say about that?
Well, she offers this 3-step approach.
Okay.
And she illustrates it through the story of Scott, this PhD student who's really struggling to get his work done.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And what I like about Robbins' approach is that it starts with self-compassion. The first step is to forgive yourself for past procrastination.
Ooh, that's tough.
It is. Because we often get stuck in this cycle of guilt and shame. And it just fuels the cycle further.
Totally, yeah.
It's like trying to run a race with a heavy backpack on. You got to let go of that weight.
Yeah, lighten the load.
Exactly. And from that place of self-forgiveness, then you can move to step 2, connecting with your future self.
Future self. I like that.
So you envision the person you want to become and ask yourself, what would my future self do in this situation?
I see. So like if you were Scott, overwhelmed with his dissertation,
right,
he could visualize himself as Dr. Scott, confidently presenting his research.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That image gives you this anchor, this motivation.
Right. And then step 3.
Step 3, that's where the 5-second rule comes in.
Ah, okay.
So the moment you feel yourself slipping into procrastination mode, count down from 5 and take action.
So like just open the laptop.
Yeah, just open the laptop, write 1 paragraph, anything to get started.
Don't wait for inspiration.
Exactly. Action first, motivation often follows.
I like that. And this idea, it applies to more than just procrastination, right?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Robbins argues that courage is essential for building stronger relationships. Okay. For having those difficult conversations.
Yeah.
For expressing our true selves.
I mean, all of that is so uncomfortable.
It is. Think about those times when you've held back from...
Oh, all the time.
Sharing your feelings or asking for what you need or setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Those are all moments that require courage.
And you know, she shares this really personal story about her dad.
Oh, yeah.
Who was diagnosed with a brain aneurysm.
Right.
And she wanted to ask him this question, you know, but she was hesitant at first.
It's a difficult question, one that might lead to an uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah. But she used the 5-second rule to push through that fear.
And what did he say?
His response was incredible. You know, he wasn't scared, just nervous about the surgery. But then he said that he had no regrets.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
He was grateful that he had the opportunity to address this before, you know, it's too late. And he expressed how much he loved his life, his family, his accomplishments.
It's a beautiful reminder that even in the face of fear and uncertainty, vulnerability can lead to these really profound connections.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, don't let fear prevent you from having these important conversations with people that you care about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because sometimes those are the most important conversations to have.
Totally. And sometimes it just takes that 5-second push, you know?
It does. It gives you that little nudge to break through those hesitations.
And she also talks about courage being important in building confidence, which seems a little counterintuitive.
Right. She challenges that idea that you're either born with confidence or you're not.
Right.
She says confidence is a belief in yourself, your ideas, and that you can cultivate it through action, through making courageous choices.
Oh, I see. So the action comes first.
Exactly. And she tells this great story about this engineer at a Cisco conference. He was super introverted.
Okay.
But he used the 5-second rule to push past his discomfort and go talk to her.
Good for him.
And that conversation led to this major career shift for him.
Really? Wow. It's amazing how one small act of courage can have such a ripple effect.
Huge ripple effect.
Yeah.
And she talks about another woman, Trace, who was feeling really stuck in a rut.
Okay.
And she used the 5-second rule to start introducing herself to strangers at this conference.
Oh, wow.
And she said it not only boosted her confidence, but it also helped her break free from that feeling of being stuck.
That's great.
It is. It's a reminder that confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room.
Right.
It's about trusting yourself enough to take action even when it feels uncomfortable.
I like that a lot. So now we're getting into this really exciting part of the book about, you know, pursuing your passions even when
you don't feel ready.
You don't feel ready, right?
Robbins encourages us to explore those interests that light us up, even if we don't have all the answers or feel totally qualified.
Yeah. I mean, we often get caught up in, you know, feeling like we need to have it all figured out.
Right. We wait for the perfect time or the right circumstances.
Exactly.
But the real magic happens when we just start, even if it's a small step.
She talks about Joe, right?
Yes. Joe. She was a banker who took a cake decorating class.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Okay.
And that one class sparked this passion that eventually led her to quit her job.
Wow.
And start a successful cake business.
That's amazing. Talk about
It's a perfect example of how following your curiosity can lead to unexpected paths.
I love that. But sometimes those paths, you know, they require us to maybe challenge some expectations or even beliefs that we have.
It takes courage to go against the grain sometimes.
She talked about Todd, right?
Yes. Todd's story is so inspiring. He was pressured by his parents to go into law or business.
Mm-hmm. That familiar story.
Yeah, that classic tale. But his real passion was physical education.
Real.
He wanted to be a teacher, inspire kids to live healthy lives.
Wow.
But the pressure from his family was intense.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of courage for him to finally confront those expectations, honor his truth.
Yeah.
And you know what? He was sitting in a tax law lecture.
Oh, no.
I know.
Not tax law.
He realized he just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And he used the 5-second rule
to
get up, walk out, and unenroll from the university.
He just walked out.
He walked out, and then he drove straight to another university and applied for a physical education degree.
I love that story.
It's such a testament to the power of aligning your actions with your passions.
Yes.
Even if it means going against what everyone expects of you.
It's about trusting yourself.
It is.
At the end of the day.
It is. And recognizing that you have the power to create the life that you want.
And Robbins talks about this, this thing that a lot of us do, which is that we wait for the perfect moment.
Oh, yeah. We're always waiting for the perfect moment.
But that perfect moment, it never comes. She even talks about the creators of Angry Birds.
Oh, wow.
They launched 51 unsuccessful games before they had a hit.
That's incredible. I mean, can you imagine the perseverance? The resilience?
Right. So, failure is just part of the process.
It's not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey.
Exactly. And you think about somebody like Picasso, who created over 50,000 pieces of art.
That's amazing.
And, they weren't all masterpieces, but it was all part of the process.
Absolutely. It's about showing up, doing the work, and trusting the process.
Yes, I love that. So this all comes back to the 5-second rule, right?
Yeah.
It gives us that push.
It does. It's like a little nudge to get us moving.
Yeah, it's that reminder that we have the power to change, that we don't have to be stuck.
Exactly. You have the power to change your life one 5-second decision at a time.
I love that. And she says something that I think is so important.
What's that?
She says that the most important relationship that you have is the one with yourself.
Oh, that's so true.
So it's about cultivating that inner dialogue, that voice of self-compassion, and that voice of encouragement that can help us navigate life's challenges.
It's about being your own best friend, your own cheerleader.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about trusting our instincts, silencing our doubts, and taking action.
Because at the end of the day, you are the hero of your own story.
I love that.
And it all starts with that simple countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go. And she talks about this fear of uncertainty that a lot of us have.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of paralyzes us.
Yeah, totally.
We wait for this mythical perfect time to act, convincing ourselves that we need more experience or more knowledge.
Or we need to, have a guarantee of success before we can even start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're looking for that permission slip from the universe.
Right, waiting for all the stars to align.
Right. But as Robbins says, you can feel uncertain and be ready.
Ooh, I like that.
You can be afraid and do it anyway. You can fear rejection and still go for it.
It's so true. There will never be a moment where you're completely free of fear or doubt.
It's part of the human experience.
Right, yeah. But it's about not letting those things dictate your actions.
It's like that old saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right, yeah. It's better to try and fail than to never try at all.
Absolutely. And Robbins gives some great examples of successful people who face the same fears and doubts.
Oh, really?
Did you know that Michelangelo initially resisted painting the Sistine Chapel?
Really?
He even fled to Florence to avoid the project.
Michelangelo, the genius behind the Sistine Chapel, was plagued with self-doubt.
It's mind-blowing, right?
It's even the greatest minds,
even the greats,
struggle with these feelings.
It's a reminder that we're all human. And then there's Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple, who almost didn't quit his job at HP to launch the company.
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't sure if he was ready.
Can you imagine if he had stayed at HP?
I know, right? It's incredible to think about what we would have missed out on.
It's a good reminder that sometimes you just have to take the leap.
Absolutely. And Robbins asked this really powerful question. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Are you waiting for someone to discover you? To give you permission?
Or are you waiting for it to be easy?
Right. But Robbins says true fulfillment comes from trusting your own inner voice and taking ownership of your life.
Right. And it's not about
being perfect. It's not about getting it right every time.
It's about trying.
It's about the willingness to learn and grow and even fail.
She says the creators of Angry Birds had 51 unsuccessful games
51?
Before they hit it big.
51?
Imagine that.
That's a lot of failing.
It is, but they kept going.
Yeah.
And look what happened. And then there's Picasso.
He created over 50,000 works of art in his lifetime.
50,000?
Not all of them were masterpieces, but each one was a testament to his dedication and his willingness to experiment.
It's a reminder that you just have to keep showing up.
Keep creating.
And doing the work.
And trusting that the results will follow. And sometimes those results might surprise you.
Yeah.
They might take you in directions you never even imagined.
Totally.
And that brings us back to the core message of the 5-second rule.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that you have the power to change your life.
Mm-hmm.
One 5-second decision at a time.
It really is about taking control of your life.
It is. And recognizing that the most important relationship you have is the one with yourself.
It is about loving yourself.
Absolutely.
And trusting yourself.
And cultivating that inner dialogue, that voice of self-compassion.
That voice that says, you can do this.
Exactly. That voice that helps you navigate those challenges and pursue your dreams. It's about trusting your instincts, silencing those doubts, and taking action.
It's about becoming the hero of your own story, like you said.
Exactly.
One thing that really struck me about the book is how Robbins blends personal stories, research, and practical tips. It's really insightful and inspiring.
It is. It's a great approach. She doesn't just tell you what to do.
Right.
She explains the why behind it.
Yeah.
Using both personal experience and a good understanding of psychology.
Exactly. And one of the big whys she focuses on is this idea of everyday courage.
Not just those big heroic moments, but...
All right, it's those little acts of courage.
It's everyday stuff that really shape our lives.
Absolutely. And those acts can be anything, speaking up at work, setting a boundary.
Right, or just putting your well-being first.
Even when it's tough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about doing what's right, even when it's uncomfortable.
It's not always easy.
It's not. But Robbins gives us a tool, right? The 5-second rule.
Oh, yeah. And it's not just a motivational trick.
Right. It's based on science.
It's grounded in neuroscience.
It's like a brain hack. It is. It's a way to rewire our thinking.
And create new habits.
And the best part is, it's so simple.
Anyone can do it.
Exactly. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do.
And the more we use it, the more natural it becomes.
It's like building a muscle. The more we exercise our courage, the stronger it gets.
And that strength shows up everywhere in our relationships, at work, in our personal growth.
And ultimately, that's what this book is about. Empowering us to live the lives we want.
Not just settling.
Exactly. Choosing courage, choosing growth.
Living by our values.
Living by our values, yeah. And I think that resonates with a lot of people.
I think so, too. Because we live in a world that tells us to play it safe.
Fit in, follow the rules.
Yeah. But Robbins says no. Break free. Embrace your potential.
She's like, screw the rules. Be yourself.
And she's right, We don't have to be perfect.
We don't.
We're all just human.
And within that humanity is this incredible capacity for courage, for resilience.
I love that. And the 5-second rule helps us tap into that.
One step at a time.
We don't need permission.
Nope.
We just need to move forward.
Even when it's scary.
Even when it's scary, yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the 5-second rule, think about what stood out to you.
What did you learn?
What 5-second decision are you ready to make?
Remember, courage is a muscle we can all strengthen. And every time we choose courage, we create a ripple effect.
Not just in our own lives,
but in the lives of those around us.
So thank you for joining us today.
We hope you found it helpful.
Keep the conversation going.
Share your experience.
And keep cultivating that courage to create a life that you truly love.
And don't forget, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
To go.